We have our next guest coming in, Jason Tarasek from Vicente LLP. I think he's busy.
He's momentarily.
We're going to talk about Minnesota. We're even going to talk about Wisconsin, Jason's home state. Where he's from. He lives in Minnesota. You can come.
Nice.
But you go that way because you're going to need a mic.
Bring some cheese curds from Mars at Cheese Castle. Well, then you're not allowed to sit in the chair.
Thanks, Ken. Thank you. Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
Jason, Anna Ray Grafstein, Mark Hauser.
Nice to meet you.
We've been on Zoom before. You're taller. And
he's wicked tall.
Yeah. You know,
wicked
I had never met Jay in person before either. And
shorter.
You were shorter than I thought. I'm also tall, so I like to surprise people with that.
You are.
Yeah. Did that surprise you?
It did. It did.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, your height is surprising. That's still yours, but I thought
I try to warn people. They are actually tall.
They are surprised.
Helpful to reach the top shelf.
Yes. I have these big tongs at the house. Like I can get the things on the top shelf, or you can just come over.
Things I've never considered.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm going to be so distracted. I'm a golfer, and this is the most beautiful.
I don't think the cameras can see.
Okay,
that.
well, it's really
over the ledge. There's a golf course between here and the wind.
I
think it's the wind, not
like
born right out the window.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a concrete jungle. It's like
amazing.
There's a lake too.
But this being Vegas, that golf course also has a strip club and a dispensary. Yes.
It does?
And an injury lawyer office.
Morgan and Morgan are there.
Morgan and Marie, yes.
Jason, you are a lawyer.
Yes.
You started your practice Minnesota cannabis law.
I did.
Now you're at Vicente LLP.
Yeah, he knows my whole story.
Yeah, I do. We've known each other.
I'm about to tell it.
That's what
I don't even need to talk. I'm on it.
No, but from day T-minus 3 years when the Minnesota conversation was happening, you've been the Minnesota cannabis lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And are we close? It's been 100 years,
Jason.
Jason.
We're there.
Can we say WTF?
Wait,
Minnesota?
Close to
What's
what?
happening? I want the Minnesota update.
Yeah, I was on a panel yesterday, and we had a member of our regulatory body there, and so I think the panel was being very nice. But I try to give them some grace. It's their first time at this too, and
Very diplomatic.
yeah. Why? It's been a clunky rollout, no doubt, but we finally do have licenses opening their doors. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of product. So the dispensaries are opening and
Selling T-shirts.
yeah. So
Hats.
Probably
2026.
not allowed to sell
I
t-shirts.
know.
2026 is when it'll really happen. But yeah, we're actually launching and yeah, it's been a long time.
But Minnesota has been this like rainbow utopia for the launch of hemp beverages over the last couple years. And I think a lot of industry onlookers, myself included, were really hopeful that Minnesota was going to present this coming together of open retail for low dose beverages, more high potency products for that type of consumer in the dispensary channel. And it just seems like that is becoming less and less likely to be the future with the new regulations.
Right.
And what really hit it home for me when I saw your attorney general's name on a letter supporting hemp prohibition at the federal level, which just seemed like a real surprise, considering that Minnesota has put so much effort into their hemp program.
It has hemp farmers.
What
I need to continue being diplomatic.
Okay.
But you are absolutely correct. That surprised me too. I think perhaps he didn't understand the full story of what was happening, the implications of that letter. So Minnesota has been regulating hemp-derived products for years. We make sure it can only be sold to adults. It's tested, it's labeled, etc. But every state is like that. And it does make me uncomfortable. For instance, you mentioned Wisconsin. I was on State Street in Madison where they were selling THCA hemp flower in a canister in a convenience store, right? Because it's completely unregulated there. And who knows what's in that, right? Nobody, you don't know what you're putting in your body. So, I think in the interest of public health, stepping back, I understand why perhaps they wanted to close that loophole in the Farm Bill because, Minnesota's doing it right, but a lot of places are doing it wrong just by ignoring it. So it's super unfortunate. And yeah, we had great plans to have this wonderful regulated hemp market and a regulated adult use market. And of course, Congress is
Well, so you guys are
Turn-
both
turn us slowly.
lawyers. I mean, help me understand
No
that
offense.
as a non-lawyer. I'm so sorry. But aside
Defense
from
taken.
that, like, I want to push a little more on this attorney general in Minnesota thing. What is the responsibility of a state attorney general to represent the constituency of their state versus getting to have personal opinions or of what they think the law should be or where it should be going? How do you guys see the role of a state level attorney general in engaging with federal policy?
Do you want to start with that, or? Yeah,
I'd love to hear what you
Well, yeah, it's probably a little easier for me to answer because you're much more in the thick of
Yeah.
it, and it's probably a little. I barely have clients, so you actually have clients. So, I just have a platform. Is I mean, I think that the you got the theoretical versus the reality, and the reality is the attorneys general weigh in all the time on every issue. I mean, the attorneys general, there's two main groups of attorneys general, one for the Republican and one for Democrat, and they are very powerful groups that are very active. And so the fact that that letter was signed by the AGs was not surprising because they weigh in on everything. And so, so I mean, that's the reality. I mean, who is their constituency? I mean, that's a very fair question. As to, but it is it's, I don't, I guess whatever answer there is probably not going to be satisfying. However,
They do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, they can kind of do whatever they want. It's part of the problem. But I mean, that's the problem's a wrong word. It's part of the issue.
Yeah, I don't think Attorney General Ellison, like I said, really understood the implications of
What are the implications in Minnesota?
it's going to crush our industry because yes, we may have an intrastate market moving forward, but my friends in the hemp space were making money because it was interstate commerce, right? And it was keeping the lights on for a lot of our microbreweries or turned into co-packers of THC.
Minnesota's been a real leader in building a supply chain that's been serving the rest of the country.
Look at Target.
Right.
It's really, really unfortunate. And, I've had state legislators in Minnesota call me and say, how can I help? Get elected to Congress. There's not much you can do from here.
Do otherwise. Yeah.
You got to handle it in DC. There's nothing you can do at the state level to turn the interstate commerce switch back. And so,
Right.
And I think, 2018 Farm Bill, I don't think Congress really knew they were legalizing intoxicant, right? But you're going to go back.
I totally agree.
Now you want to open it up again? Now everyone has eyes wide open. You're essentially asking Congress to legalize marijuana if you want to do it now, right? And this Congress, I don't know if they're prepared to.
That's I always go back to, and I've written about this. I said it again recently. It's drugs, and drug policy is not rational, and so you're going to have to get 60 senators to agree to legalize drugs, and it's not impossible, even with low dose. But that's a barrier that makes this hard. And but I agree, and I think that it's the challenge of deciding to sign that letter is drug policy versus economics, the economic reality of that, but it also creates an opportunity that one of the challenges for the hemp industry that they've had is that it's hard to build a long lasting, sustainable, serious industry on a loophole.
Yeah.
And, bring in serious long-term permanent capital and be considered like any other true CPG. In the long run, you need, in a way, maybe this is an opportunity, I don't know what the solution is. And this is, is it whole plants? I don't know. But yeah, it is get it right from the start, and build something that then is reliable. And can then actually support these businesses and do it the way that they can then rely on. I know.
I would love, you've been talking about these things all week. Have you heard any solutions?
Nope.
I've heard lots of ideas. They all seem a little too creative.
It's hard. I think it's, yeah.
I think our only shot is a moonshot from President Trump, some executive order as the midterms are approaching. But that to rely on that seems risky.
Yeah. To me, I think it's you have to find a way to get the alcohol producers to, they don't need to necessarily support it, but find a way to say we're gonna be on the even playing field. It's not just age gating, it's trade practice, it's labeling, it's marketing. We're gonna, we're not gonna put this in energy drinks anymore because the alcohol industry, things like that. We're willing to at least play on the same level playing field. At least then alcohol may be willing to step back slightly. But you still have to then convince.
Still to get Congress to do something.
Well, that's the thing, is then you got to get Congress to be willing to take that political leap of legalizing, a psychoactive psychotropic product. And
If the rumors are true, if the alcohol industry really was behind this push to close the loophole, okay, maybe they won the battle, but they're still going to lose the war, right? Everyone knows younger people aren't drinking alcohol like other generations. The future is THC. So eventually they're going to have to embrace this, right?
Yeah.
And maybe kick the can a little bit, but we're coming back in some way.
Jason, we talked about Minnesota. We talked about hemp related to Minnesota. You are actually from Wisconsin. You are from Milwaukee. And you spend time there. What is the status of a state with nothing?
Oh, I'm really excited. No one believes me, but we have a very good shot at passing a medical cannabis bill in Wisconsin soon, maybe as soon as February. The dynamics are changing in Wisconsin. Historically, it has been one of the most gerrymandered states in the country. There's a Democratic governor, but vast majority controlled by the Republicans in the legislature. But for various reasons, the legislative maps are getting redrawn. And it's getting more competitive. And so that means that the GOP is taking a harder look at medical cannabis. I mean, the polling, it's off the charts, right? I think it's in excess of 80%, right? And Wisconsin is surrounded by states now, Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois, that have all legalized cannabis. So it's there. And medical cannabis, obviously, is a great first step, help patients who are suffering. We have plenty of people ready to testify about how their lives are negatively impacted because they don't have access to medical. And plenty of Wisconsin state senators, frankly, are ready to do this. That the Wisconsin Assembly is the harder part, but we have a pretty sophisticated lobbying group with the Wisconsin Wellness Campaign, which is comprised, this may surprise you, by a lot of Native American tribes in Wisconsin who would love to see the ability to have medical cannabis programs on their tribal lands because they have problems with opioids and alcohol addiction, and medical cannabis can help with that too.
Is there no voter initiative process in
There is not.
Wisconsin? Yeah. I never realized that there weren't voter initiative.
That's 'cause you're in
processes
California.
some states
Yeah.
until I started paying attention to cannabis legalization.
Right.
I'm thinking, well, if everyone wants it, why can't we have it?
Minnesota didn't either.
Yeah.
And so we needed the electoral politics to line up, and Wisconsin. So, all the states that legalize adult use cannabis, not all of them, but I think the vast majority did it through voter initiative.
Yeah.
If you put the question to the people are going to say yes.
Yeah.
Moving the legislators, it's
Right.
Which is like what's been happening in Pennsylvania. It's just like a never-ending cycle of legislative paralysis or infighting.
Because they have to play to their base to get voted,
But it can be a shortcut.
bigger challenge. Yeah.
Like what you're saying is that it could happen in February. It's December now.
Yeah.
That's nice and quick.
I'm very encouraged.
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can we, maybe if you can get old style to say, we're going to do an infused old style. That would rally to support.
Lyman Kugel?
Well, it's, the Tavern League,
No Walking
Wisconsin
Beast.
The Tavern League.
is super powerful. And as soon as I heard that the Tavern League at least would remain neutral on this, I thought,
It's a big deal.
here we go. Again, they're looking at the numbers and they realize the future is cannabis.
Yeah.
It's really
Makes
called
sense.
the Tavern League. Sounds like a like a men's softball league that you play in the summer. Oh, you play in the tavern
that
league?
too.
Yeah, totally.
What going back to the rollout of licensed cannabis in Minnesota, I mean, it's both disappointing, yet completely unsurprising to hear that you've got sort of a rollout with lack of supply, and which mean and so you're going to have this again, the sort of the supply demand curve or whatever are going to be completely messed up, and then likely I'm guessing what'll happen, because it happens everywhere else, is then there'll be too much expansion too quickly, too much oversupply, prices will crash, and so is the industry there trying to figure out how do we prevent the same problem from happening that's happened in like nearly every other state?
Is the industry?
Okay, maybe that's too long.
Well, okay.
I meant it as a curious question, but I recognize the folly.
So I spoke on a panel at NJ Business. I'm sorry if you attended that and you have to listen to me say the same thing. But we drafted the Minnesota bill to keep, the legislators drafted the legalization bill with very low canopies to keep MSOs out. And I think that is needed to a large degree. So yes, you're right about everything you said, but to the extent there will be a vast oversupply, I think it'll be stunted a bit by those canopy limits. The biggest cultivation license gives you 30,000 square feet.
Oh my God.
Canopy.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
It's actually a perfect amount of canopy, in my opinion, 30,000 square feet to create a robust market. So I think that you make a really interesting point, and that it could be a healthy market with less price compression too, if it is smaller operators. But there's a lot of licenses given out with those 30,000 square feet even. And
Actually, there are not them.
Yeah.
Disagree. But there are relatively few. There are maybe only a few dozen though. And I don't think many of those were operationalized.
yeah, that's the hardest part.
We do have 1,000 micro business licenses floating around.
Oh, wow.
That's a vertically integrated license. That's 5,000 square feet of canopy. I mean, we're relying on the little guys to band together. You needed $500 and a pulse to get that license. And a lot of those folks thought, once I get the license, the investment money will find me.
How's that working out?
That's
That is not happening.
You don't think?
So I think sort of our more sophisticated operators who are already capitalized will use those micro business licenses to grow, but we need a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
To meet the demand.
Interesting.
Can you stack licenses?
You're not supposed to.
But can you?
There are creative solutions.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys realize how expensive it is to build and pay for a 30,000 square foot
yeah.
grow? I mean, that's still like more than $5 million.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of situations where there might be a very big facility and you have different suites, suite numbers with micro business.
Cannabis. That's what they wanted to do in Nelson, BC. Like all these legacy growers, put them in like a condo of a grow facility. Like, they each get their own cabinets, because that's where all the sweet weed is grown in BC. I don't think they ever did though. Good idea. Yeah.
I think it's both smart, but also not smart, because I think that these are things that just point to the complexity of a lot of regulation.
Yes.
Right.
And what it does to create this just inherently inefficient business models.
What's the word I had in my head? Inefficient.
That are kind of designed for not optimal business environments, but designed to create opportunity and fairness. But when you put caps on things like canopy, you're also capping fairness. You're capping opportunity of how much opportunity there can ever be. Because you can only get so much cannabis out of 5,000 square feet. And while this isn't the same as some of the social equity programs that we've seen have failures in other places, I do think that when you have too small of caps, what you're doing is kind of giving somebody golden handcuffs. Like, it at first seems like, oh, this is great. I got this license. I can go grow cannabis in Minnesota now. But you might not ever be able to grow enough cannabis to be able to hire enough staff
Right.
to actually be able to support your business at the levels. You're just always going to be hamstrung.
Yep.
Like you can't have a true executive team. You could maybe have a general manager, but you're
Right.
not ever going to be able to hire a CFO, or
Mhm.
you just can't reach the scale to have the basic internal business functions.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the longevity of that is.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope that
If they launch, then we'll
legislature's
know.
flexible.
Just kidding, Jason. Jason, one more thing before we let you go and bring on Rick and Jeremy, who's here. We talked about it on our Friday show a couple weeks ago. In Minnesota, a city is opening up their own dispensary. Yeah, that's cool.
There will be many cities.
Oh yeah, they look at it
Municipal
as
stores.
they can control where it goes, or they make like money. Like, what is the driving force?
That is, so we have several unique features of our legalization bill. One of which is allowing cities to operate their own dispensaries. I don't think that exists anywhere else in the country. I think there were experiments with this in the past. I've heard it happen in Canada
Yeah.
here and there, but I think we're going to have potentially dozens of.
Really?
We have municipal
Love that.
liquor stores,
Oh wow.
and so the municipal cannabis store is like the answer to that. And it's not always the cities you'd think. They're going to be, I think, smaller towns,
Sure.
rural areas.
They wouldn't get one otherwise.
Well, yeah, you're going to make money doing it, right?
Right.
You're going to be the only game in town, possibly. And it's really interesting. Yeah, I will say, talking about supply, I think a lot of folks in Minnesota thought our tribal nations would come to the rescue because we have this unique feature which allows them to not only grow on tribal land, but participate in the off-tribal cannabis business as well. But they've been having their own problems. They're new to cannabis too, and they just haven't been able to fill it up, unfortunately.
Love that. Love that.
What are you excited about for 2026?
Well, I guess it'll be the true launch, and I'm optimistic. We have lots of very eager entrepreneurs, and unfortunately, we all know that entrepreneurs in any business, most of them fail, and I'm sure we're going to see lots of failures. We have many people who I think are going to do it right. So I'm really hoping I come back next year and I can talk about how great the market is, but I'm an optimist. And even as I stand, I think, oh boy, I hope I'm right.
I hope you're right.
To hear you say,
too.
folks, don't say it.
Nothing has been smooth so far, but I really hope we get it rolling this year.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us here today, Jason Tarasek. Everybody seems to be on their way to the airport. Everybody's coming in with their bag. I like that. And so I know you're on your way out. Thank you so much. And we'll see you. Well, we'll see you before this, but
Have a bagel as a parting gift.
yeah.
I will.
Catherine Schmier.
Bye.
Bye, Jason. Thank you so
Good
much.
to see you.
See, we started talking about height and
Is he okay?
Yeah,
You
he's okay.
See you.
Got there.
Whoa.